Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everything's good with you guys. So today, I have decided to react on Led Zeppelin Interview on today's show 2003 with Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and John Paul Jones. So if you want to see my reaction, then please keep on watching.
Want to feel old? 2003 marks the 35th anniversary of the beginning of the band Led Zeppelin. And to mark the occasion, a gift to fans, the Led Zeppelin DVD. 5 hours of previously unreleased live performances from 4 tours spanning 1970 to 1979. And a 3-disc CD with more live concert material from concerts in California in 1972 called How the West Was Won. In a rare, exclusive interview, I had the opportunity to talk to the 3 surviving members of the legendary band Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and John Paul Jones. The music is legendary. The riffs considered some of the greatest of all time. With more than 200 million albums sold worldwide, Led Zeppelin is the biggest selling rock group in history.
When you look back and you measure up what the band was about, 4 very, very different people and personalities coming together and have this union on stage and taking on this sort of fifth element, which is something which is intangible. But, you know, it's definitely something that was very, very powerful.
From the groundbreaking early days of heavy metal to the power ballad, Led Zeppelin did it all. Take me through the process of getting ready for the live show, because the live shows were legendary.
I think I can quite safely say here, from the minute that you walked on stage, the amount of time that was going to go on stage and the time that you came back off stage, you never knew exactly what was going to be happening because of all this, the way, you know, this communication, the way that it went on musically, and the way that it would just go off on a tangent here and there, and you know, there was no way that you couldn't be there, but just really throw yourself right into it.
Epitomizing the era of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, they lost drummer John Bonham in 1980 from an alcohol overdose.
Well, quite clearly, when we lost John in 1980, we've been talking about this bond that we had, and this almost like a musical ESP that we developed along the way. What were you going to do? People came to us, and I know they mentioned drummers, not with a commercial mind there when they were saying it was purely for the best wood in the world, but there wasn't, you know, you'd say, yeah, it's a great drummer, but what do you actually do here? Do you say, listen to this, this is what we improvised one night, now you learn it and we'll play it the same every night? Of course not. So, you know, so at that point in time, it was a measure of respect for John Bonham's part that he played, and plus what we felt amongst what Led Zeppelin was, that we can discontinue.
But if you're going to talk about this, you should go to a clip from Achilles' Last Stand at Nebworth, because the unity between these guys was unbelievable. If you couldn't get near that, then it would be a real soulless, empty experience, which nobody wanted.
And while other bands of a similar generation continued to strut their stuff on stage, Led Zeppelin looks forward by looking back, by letting the music speak for itself, the way the band always wanted it to. Why did you decide to do this now?
Well, the main reason is that if you think about Led Zeppelin's career that was 11 years long, and that career was based really on the strength of its albums and our live performances, there'd just been this missing aspect of Led Zeppelin.
When it came time to gather this footage, and from all the sources, how do you go about communicating with the bootleggers? You call directory assistants and say, anybody who stole our music and our video in the 70s, please contact. How do you do that?
It seemed a really good idea to try and get in touch with anybody who had anything, even though some of this stuff was out on what you call bootleg source. It really was a guy there with a Super 8 film in his day, and the key to it was to get back to that original source, those Super 8s. So there had to be some delicate negotiations.
What was it like, John, when you first looked at some of this footage that you hadn't seen in however many years?
How young we all looked at the start. I mean, right from the early Albert Hall stuff. You know, it was a band with great sort of swagger and bravado. We had this huge attitude at the time. And so it was great to see all that just searing off the screen.
Well, I think we all knew it was really a milestone for us when we recorded it. As far as it becoming an anthem or anything like that, of course we wouldn't have been that pretentious to think something like that. But we knew that it was really good. And for example, we were playing in LA and the fourth album hadn't come out. We did Stairway and we got something, we got a standing ovation. And I thought, wow, we're really transmitting something, you know. And that number was just really, it meant a lot of things to many people.
There are a lot of groups out there right now that started about the same time you guys got together. What is stopping Led Zeppelin from jumping on stage?
We don't know how good you are on the drums.
Yeah.
That's the reason. You never could find anyone who could take John's place on drums?
This band was performance-based and musician-based, and everything came from in the band. And so if there was somebody else on stage but a member of Led Zeppelin, it wouldn't be Led Zeppelin anymore. It's as simple as that.
When people come up to you on the street these days, when they see you here or wherever, and they say, you know what, guys, this album, I remember that girl I was dating, and this album, I remember I was living in Europe. Is it the same for you?
Yeah, I've got those memories too, you know, and I think one of the things about that period was because you weren't given images, you made up your own images. You listened to the music and it just took you into another world.
Had a pretty cool job. And we're back with more.
But in general, from all of this, you do understand like how much they respected each other, how much they loved each other in this band. And the fact, like, it's a very sad story, the way their drummer went away from this world. But also after what they said, like, it wasn't just a question of who can play it. Yeah, obviously, their drummer were like, he was so talented. And it's so hard to replace people like that. But the way they explained it, that the issue wasn't of finding a person that could play. Like, the thing that they said, it was that it wouldn't be Led Zeppelin anymore. And I respect it so much because they just wanted to be the original ones. They didn't want anybody else to come in and join, you know, their group. They kept it real. And from all of this interview, that was my favorite answer. And I appreciate them and their music so much. Their talent is just, it's incredible. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed my reaction video, then please like my video, subscribe to my channel. Until my next video, bye guys.